All right, guys, good evening. Once again, this is Charles with the Exodus Logistics Learning Center. Tonight, I'm going to do a conversation with someone who recently joined under the Freight Broker one-on-one training for beginners. Her name is Stacy Hernandez. Hello, Stacy.
Hi.
So, Stacy watched a lot of she just joined, just enrolled, but she just got her freight broker authority. I think it became active on the 24th of last month, October. And she's been following the YouTube channel, Freight Broker One-on-One Training for Beginners, and she's taken all that information and actually applied it without enrolling in the course. So she got her authority just by simply watching free free videos on YouTube, right? And I'll let you talk. I'm just leading into the legitimacy of the training and the channel and the information that's given. And now she took that information, got her authority, and then joined and enrolled in the freight broker course so that she can go a little bit further along. But go ahead and give us a little intro about yourself, Stacy, if you don't mind.
Okay. My name is Stacy, of course. I work night shift. So yes, I listened to a lot of his old videos, it didn't matter if it was dispatcher or freight broker. Because I want to learn it all if I can. Um, so at night, because I work in a hospital, it's easier for me to listen in and try to like Google things, what he says to how to get your freight license, your brokerage license. So I listened to those videos. I took a lot of notes. And it wasn't just me. I have a friend, he's a truck driver. So he explained to me, like, hey, you should do such and such. I'm a truck driver. Maybe we can do something together. And that's where it really started at. So I was like, okay, cool. I went on YouTube and he showed me one class to take with another group or with another guy. And I went on YouTube and found Charles. And I kind of was like, everybody learned different. So for me, I thought he was hands-on. Actually, I called him maybe a few weeks ago and I didn't think nothing of the phone. I'm like, he ain't gonna answer. Let me call. I call. He actually called me back in like 1 minute, 2 minutes back. And I was like, dang, this is really good because I like to know who I'm giving my money to online. Are you someone I could talk to and ask a question if I'm stuck somewhere? So everyone learned different. For me, I was checking both classes out and I just felt like this is where I should be at. I know how I learned. I know how I'm reciprocating everything because I explained to my friend, hey, this guy is like giving up everything for free. I said, but I still need to learn it. So I need to still take his class. And then I said, versus the other person you sent me to, I said, he's not saying anything. I went on his videos. Everything is a roundabout conversation. Yeah, you can make this money. I don't want to know about $10,000 or $20,000. I want to learn it. So if I learn it, I can actually try to grow my own business on my own. You could tell me I can make all this money. It's not necessarily I will. So that's what my main focus was, is that even though I listened to his videos, it wasn't just freight brokerage videos. I went on a dispatcher because I want to learn the paperwork. I want to learn how, if I just did dispatching, will this work too? Do I have to start off here? I could start off as a freight broker, but what if it didn't kick off? But this dispatcher could kick off faster because I have the driver. So what is it more can I do? I didn't want to get stuck in one place. I want to know both. But the freight brokerage is more important, but also the dispatcher is important too. So I want to learn the paperwork. I don't want to mess nothing up. I want to learn which trucks are important to drive in the beginning and what trucks aren't. He said a lot. He said a couple of trucks are not good. And I asked my friend about that as well. He said, yeah, you don't want a refrigerated truck. He said there's times he had to get rid of food and chicken and ice cream because I guess something happened in the back of the refrigerator. So I paid attention. I took my notes, which is, I have a lot of notes here that I take. I take it from him, I apply it, and I make sure that not only that, neither I listen to other videos, other women, other men. I've been seeing testimonies on his from another young lady that was a truck driver. Her dad was a truck driver. She came from a family of truck drivers. So I was listening and I'm like, okay, everything he's saying is right. Now, how do I start? I said I'd rather start without going to the class first. I should start the initial paperwork, the EIN, the business, and all this. And I started doing that, slowly taking my time to get it done. And then now I'm like, oh, I'm at the end. I got the freight brokerage license. Now I can start the class because I want that to be the main focus, is to study from what he's saying and what he have here. So that's my story, and now I'm ready. I'm ready to take the class.
Very good, very good. So I'm glad you said all of that, because last year and 2 years ago, I would post a lot of free videos on the YouTube channels, the Freight Broker 101 training for beginners, as well as the Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. I got more videos, like 150 plus videos on the dispatcher side, and I got a lot on the freight broker side too, but not as much, of giving the same information repetitively, because repetition helps when you're learning something new, especially from a beginner's standpoint. And my job as an instructor is to give the basic overview and the basic level understanding so that you guys can take it. And my audience are those individuals who know very little, if anything, about the industry that you're getting into, transportation, specifically dispatching and or freight brokering. So in your case with the brokering side, let me go to my portal, because you got an email once you purchase now that you're going to be able to log into what I'm getting ready to show here on the screen, that you're going to learn more about. Because now that you have an active freight broker authority, a broker license, if you will, then you're going to be able to log into the portal and be able to access the area, the guest area. So let me see why this is not coming up here. So we teach the very basics of freight brokering, right? We go over getting shippers. Well, even before you get a shipper, we go over your paperwork, your different packets, because as a freight broker, you are a logistics provider. You are someone who arranges for the transportation. This is the definition of a freight broker: someone who arranges for the transportation of freight, right? You do that by procuring it from customers, from shippers, right? And then you broker them to the owner operators, the trucking companies, the carriers, right? So that's what you do. So we go over that, we give you that understanding. In order to do that, you need to contract with both of your customers, both of your clients as a freight broker. The shippers, there is a broker shipper agreement. And then with the trucking companies or the carriers, the owner operators, there is a broker carrier agreement. And in both of those cases, you are involved in that. So we show you packet types, what's involved. So what are the contents specifically that you would need, the minimum requirements of content that you need with your broker shipper agreement. So if you're going to send something to it, let's say a shipper says, hey, send me your information. You may have cold called them. You may have sent them an email. You may have communicated with them on LinkedIn or whatever, because that's your first job, is to get a shipper, because you need some freight to move so you can make some money as a broker, right? So a shipper says, yeah, send me your information. Let's connect, right? So if I'm a shipper, what I expect to see from someone who says that they are a broker, I need to see a copy of your authority, your broker authority, your broker license. I need to see your bond, because I need to see that you have proper bond coverage, your $75,000 surety bond or trust fund. I'm assuming you did a BMC 84, a surety bond.
Surety bond. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then I also need to see your W-9, right? That you have a license, an EIN, a business for your company. And then any supplemental insurance I may need to see also, right? So I need to see that. And if you have a factoring company, I need to see that as well. Okay, so if you have most brokered loads are going to be factored loads. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with what factoring is at this point.
Yeah, I am. I was waiting. I forgot about that part with you. Cause I know you said you knew you had some that you could have gave out like referral to call if they use your business name or so that you took the class, you could get at like maybe hopefully at a smaller percentage than they will. But I already know it could be my first time. It may be higher than others for the factoring. Can that be the person, the third party that gets the invoice? They pay the driver. I get paid. Everyone is paid on time instead of
Right.
waiting 45 days.
Right. That is like invoice factoring. We have a factoring company, representative company that we deal with, Seven Oaks. They're called Seven Oaks Factoring. So we have them that we deal with. Monica Case is our representative, but for some reason I can't get into the portal, but that's fine. We'll continue speaking at least. So so that's on the broker shipper side. So, and then when you come into the training also, you need to give those loads that you got from the shipper to the carrier, the motor carrier. So now you have a broker carrier agreement. So now as that, you as a broker, you would have to do what's called on board or get a carrier approved for your brokerage with certain requirements. You require your motor carriers to have an authority, an operating authority. Number one, because I'm not going to give my shipper's freight to someone who's not qualified to transport it, right?
Yeah.
But that's where the motor carrier authority comes in at. They need to have insurance, right? They need to have a W-9. And if they have a factoring company, they need to have their factoring company, they're going to run a credit check on my brokerage, right? So these are things that we give templates and guides so you can take our templates and examples and formulate it to your brokerages or your company's specifications, okay? We go over that. We go over how to get shippers. We go over strategies on how to get shippers, how to get carriers. We have different resources in our broker training. We have live trainings, Zoom trainings every second and fourth week. We do, the trainings are recorded, so they are stored in our recording portal. Train in the back office here. So we have all of those things available at you once you get access to that, and we go from there. So let me close this real quick. Let me stop the share for 1 second and then close the browser and open it back up because I'm not sure why it's giving us that and then redo that. But yeah, so I'm glad that I got a chance because we were talking. I said, well, let's get this on a Zoom so we can share with others who are interested in hearing your steps and your stage, right? What you came through. So you came through prior to enrolling and you took everything that you learned, all the things that you learned, you referred, you did your homework on me, and then you spoke to your friend who is a truck driver and he told you that, you know, you should do this. So here we go. So so I just close and reopen my browser. So here's our Freight Broker 101 main menu. So all these resources are back here, right? Once you come in, you get started, orientation. We talk about some of the stuff you don't need. Like over here, you need, okay, the orientation, I don't say you need it, but orientation is fine to just say, hey, welcome to our training portal, yada, 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 right? Prerequisites and requirements, you don't need that because you already have a broker license, right? But for those who don't, who come in, we go over that. The difference between a freight broker and a freight broker agent, at some point as your brokerage grows, you may want to scale and hire agents to kind of work under your brokerage, freight broker agents. So we talk about the difference between those two. And then other things, you can probably join our Facebook group. You already subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then we have referrals, right? Over here, this middle column is the meat of our training. We have 3 modules. So customers and shippers, those are the same thing. How to deal with them, how to get them, different strategies, cold calls, visiting them. We tell you to like Google local manufacturers, shippers in your area, do your research on them. You want to do your homework on them before you contact them, things like that. So, and then we talked about packet types. Remember, I just mentioned the broker shipper packet and the broker carrier packet. So you're going to see all this once you log into the portal. And then module 2, we talk about, the carrier side, approved carriers, those carriers that you sign on and onboarded to your brokerage, as opposed to asset carriers. You may be a trucking company who started a brokerage. So your trucking side, that can be considered assets for your brokerage.
Okay.
So we have asset-based brokerages. Okay. But since I don't know if you have assets. I don't know if you have trucks. You just started a brokerage without any trucks.
Yeah, without any trucks. He's a driver for a company. He's been driving over 5 years. But as I kept looking and listening, there was a vet that was on one of your videos. He spoke of when, I forgot what year it was, gas gotten really bad. And he said he parked his truck and he rented to lease a truck.
Right. So there's different strategies. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was thinking that, like, hey, you can rent to lease a truck and that would be better and I looked at other videos too, and I'm like, you know what, that sounds better to lease a truck or rent a truck for at least 6 months until it kicks off, like at full, where a lot of work will be coming in, but it's not going to be slow, because I assume maybe in the beginning it's going to be slow.
Right. Because in the beginning, as a new broker, you're working on aging your authority. Because in the eyes of a shipper, the newer the authority is, the less likely they're going to try to give you freight, the more of a risk you are, because you don't have any experience, you haven't moved any load yet. But at some point, somebody's going to give you an opportunity. Yes. So success is where preparation and opportunity meet, right? Yeah. So once you get there, so while you're training and educating yourself on the techniques and the strategies and the workflow and things like that, how things are done, once you get that opportunity, and at the same time, your authority is still aging, right? You still have a year of coverage on that bond before you have to renew it. So there's things going on in the back scene that, still is happening. So in the meantime, you're still working on getting shippers, you're still working on getting carriers and putting them together. And then as a freight brokerage, you have a certain percentage to charge. You want a certain margin that you're trying to make a profit under. 15, 20%, whatever that is. So
I would stay at a basic, being so new. I won't do 15, 20 for me. I would start at 10. And the reason so, I'm still not taking a loss. I will still be working because I work nights. And I will still take just the 10%, just so the driver knows, hey, you still can make your money. I'm okay doing this in the beginning, maybe of my first 5 carriers. Okay.
So what you're saying is, if a shipper tenders you a load and you accept that tender, you sign it, the agreement between you and that shipper, and let's say that tender was for $5,000 for every load they give you. Let's say they give you 5 loads a week. So every load you move is $5,000, and you take 10% of that. So 10% of 5,000 is 500.
It's 500, yeah.
So the other 4,500 can potentially go to the carrier. Now, you're not going to post it on a load board for 4,500. You may post it for like 42 or 43 to give yourself that gap to negotiate. Right. You still got 500 in your back pocket. So whatever you negotiate within that other gap, you'll still get the rest of that too. And so the majority of the money, so your mentality already is good, because you want to give the majority of the money to the carriers, because the carriers are the ones who's moving the freight and moving those loads, which is going to indirectly satisfy your shipper, who's going to give you more loads over time. So you're thinking volume at this point.
And they may be in fuel is expensive. So they say, hey, I'll do that load for 38 or 4. But I may need a little bit more money, because such said, I may be going this way and maybe the mountain is this way. Because he said the same things that you guys were saying, certain areas of driving. And I'm like, okay, I was still coming more, because why? There's still more money to play with, to give. So I wouldn't want to come in so 15, 20% being so new. I would kind of like a little bit, do the 10% and then see where we could kind of land at.
And as a freight broker, you have the complete autonomy of your company. You determine so the average is between the standard right now between 15 and 20. If you want to go below that, that's perfectly fine to kind of get your feet wet and start generating carriers and generating frequency of loads. So that's perfectly fine. It's your brokerage. So also back here, we have our study materials. We talk about TMS systems. We have our tools and resources. And then here's where our video, all of our Zoom trainings are recorded, and they're stored in months and years of the months in those years in this video library area. Click these are buttons you just click. And then we have, certain load boards you can look at too. And then we have our different specials. So we have an affiliate with Truck Stop. We have our store. We have here's Seven Oaks Factoring, right? E-carrier check, you can look into that. That's kind of a match.com where you can match shippers with carriers. That'll help your brokerage as well. And then we have our TransCredit affiliate. TransCredit is a business credit. If you're trying to establish business credit or you're looking up a credit score of a shipper or a credit score of a broker or I'm not a broker, but a carrier, you can go through TransCredit and look their information up. That's an affiliate link that you can, if you want to get a subscription to that, if you want to get a subscription to e-carrier check, we have that available. Talk to Seven Oaks for factoring if you want to consider other factoring companies like OTR and whoever, but we have a relationship with Seven Oaks. We may soon have one with OTR as well. But this is your main area that you're going to be in, right? Study materials, which is like templates and things like that we have. So this is your area that you're going to be coming in. This is where all the other students come in at. So, but you joined today, but you joined based off of following the YouTube channel and actually applying for your freight broker license, your operating authority as a freight broker prior to joining the course from seeing the videos on the YouTube channel, the free videos. So that's amazing.
Yes,
yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Very good.
Trust me, you gave out a lot more information that I found. So I was glad for it.
Yeah. So my job, so I what's the point of having all the knowledge and the information? I don't want to hoard it, right? I want to, give you as much. I want to break it down because this is a basics beginners training platform to establish the foundation. And then once you establish that rock solid foundation, you can scale in any direction you want to go, right? Yeah. You can decide you want to broker certain commodities, certain equipment types. You want to broker certain shippers in certain areas of the country because they provide a high volume of inbound and outbound freight. Those things we talk about, and those things you can determine as you progress in your studies in the Freight Broker 101 training for beginners. So,
yeah. And I just have a question before we go further. You said insurance. Is that something I should have?
You said what now? Supplemental insurance?
Yes.
So in addition to the bond, some shippers require extra insurance coverage so that the brokers can show some kind of skin in the game in the eyes of a shipper. Like, for example, contingent cargo or what's called E&O, errors and omissions. Those are the two common ones. There are others. Contingent cargo, so when you onboard a carrier or a truck driver, owner, operator to your freight brokerage, you're going to require them to have insurance. On that policy, there's two types of coverages. There's cargo and liability. The cargo, most carriers, they'll carry a minimum of $100,000 for cargo. If you have contingent cargo under your brokerage, let's say $100,000 or $200,000, whatever that number is, if there's an issue with the cargo, if there's damage or anything like that, and you're listed as a certificate holder on your onboarded carrier's insurance, their cargo coverage is going to cover the damages. If it's more than 100,000, that's where your contingent cargo kicks in and covers the difference. So it's optional. It's not required for brokers to have that. Obviously, it's not because you already got your license, but it's an optional if you want to take on that expense to make yourself look good in the eyes of the shipper. Say, hey, in addition to the carrier's cargo coverage, I have contingent cargo just in case his coverage doesn't cover the cost of your goods or your commodities that we're transporting from your shipping facility to your customer's receiving facility, Mr. Shipper. Okay. So contingent cargo is just contingent upon the carrier's coverage. It's just an added layer of protection on the cargo side. Okay. And then errors and omissions, E&O, is for when brokers make mistakes. They either make an error on paperwork or they omit something. For example, let's say you have a shipper who has freight or commodities or goods that gets transported on a flatbed. And you neglect as a freight broker when you onboarded this carrier and you produced a rate confirmation for a specific load that they're going to pick up from the shipper through your brokerage, you neglect to tell the carrier that load needed to be tarped, right? They get to the shipping facility, they get the load, but they don't tarp it. They transport it untarped, they transport it strapped and it's secure, but it's not tarped. They get to the receiving facility and the first thing that happens is it gets rejected because it wasn't tarped. the receiver required it to be tarped because they got whatever's on there needed to be protected from the elements, right? So that's why they required it to be tarped. But you as a broker, you got the instructions from your shipper, you just neglected to, for whatever reason, to tell the carrier transporting this freight that it needed to be tarped. It gets rejected from the receiver, a claim is filed. That's where E&O kicks in, your errors and omission insurance kicks in to cover that, whatever that claim is. So that's how that works. So these are extra expenses that you, if you can afford to take them on, it adds value to your brokerage in the eyes of the customers, of the shippers, but it's not a requirement.
It's not a requirement.
I know brokers who are running brokerages without CCI, contingent cargo insurance, or E&O. They just list themselves as a certificate holder on the carrier's certificate of insurance. You know what that means, right? Well, you add yourself, your brokerage to the, when you have the carrier or the carrier's dispatcher list your brokerage on the certificate of insurance at the bottom on the certificate of insurance policy of the carrier's certificate of insurance, there's a box down in the lower left-hand side that says certificate holder.
Oh, okay.
And that's where you put the insurance agent adds your broker name, street address, city, state, and zip to that policy while that carrier is running that load.
Okay.
So, okay. All right. Well, thank you, Stacy. I'm glad you was willing to have the time to do this. I just wanted to share your experience, how you came, and you enrolled today. I got the information, I processed you in, and you enrolled today. But your story was unique because you enrolled after getting your freight broker authority, not going through the course yet, and you did it based off of some of the information on the YouTube channel, your experience with your friend who's a truck driver, and maybe other people as well. But you pull some free information off our YouTube channel, and it benefited.
A lot of information, YouTube videos, a lot.
Yeah. So, and that's good. I'm glad. So I'm glad to know that even the free information that we give can help a person get their authority as a freight broker, because we itemize what the requirements are. All you have to do is just apply that information. So now the training is going to take it to the next level, as far as, what you're going to need to do. So, but thank you. I salute you. I welcome you to Freight Broker One-on-One Training for Beginners. And by the way, on the website, and I guess I'll show this, under Freight Broker One-on-One at the top where the header is, Zoom training schedule, okay? Mm-hmm. This is where we have our live Zoom training schedules every second and fourth week of each month, right? Tuesdays and Fridays in those weeks, those second and fourth weeks, every Tuesday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you're in Nevada, so you're Pacific time, right? So you're 3 hours away. So that'll be Tuesday at 3 p.m. and Friday at 3 p.m. your time. Okay. Pacific time. So you want to notate that. And then right here, we have a calendar. The dates that are circled in green is when we have them, the Tuesdays and Fridays of those weeks. So you can always refer. So this is where you come in and log into the Zoom trainings every second and fourth week on those days and times with the same meeting ID and passcode on those circled in green dates. So next week, Tuesday, which is the 8th of November, is we're having our freight broker training, Zoom training.
Okay.
And again, all the Zoom trainings are recorded and they are stored in our training videos or video library. So, okay, this is where all of our videos are. But you can go in there and they're grouped by months. Mm-hmm. And you select a specific month and it goes to that month, and then you select a specific. So in that particular month, the most recent date in that month, date and year, is listed first on the left-hand side. So then you'll be able to see right here, training videos. So you'll be able to see that. So we're in the month of November. So let's go. We don't have a November live training yet, so it would be there. So if you click October, the previous month, it'll anchor down to that month. Okay, October. Well, the last freight broker video in October was the 28th, 10, 28, 22. And we got the video there and so on and so forth. If you go to the far right, you can click the little white arrow and it goes through all the videos of that specific month and in previous years. If you notice, 2021. Mm-hmm. We go as far back as 2020. Because we started this back in 2020 when we first did an online training portal. So we started recording those videos and storing them. So there's a plethora of videos, content that reiterates the training, right? And I'll go back to the top. And this is grouped in months: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So we have yet to do the November, December of this year's videos yet because they haven't happened yet. So, okay.
Okay.
But
Well,
that's
started.
so. Yeah, try to be as user friendly as possible.
Yeah.
And then we even have how we have some videos. Let's see, I'm in the, there we go, in the freight broker side. So we got that, we got tools and resources, TMS systems. So at some point, as your freight brokerage grows, you're going to need a TMS system, right? Transportation management software. That's what that is. It just keeps everything organized in one CRM database kind of a system where you keep all your shippers you got, all your carriers you got onboarded, all the loads you may have done, all the equipment types that you deal with, the routes, all your accounts payable, all those different things in one CRM/CMS database. One of the most common and inexpensive TMS systems is called Ascend, ASCEND. There are others. There's the largest one is called McLeod. It's about $25,000 a month. Ooh. But that's for corporate, those big, large brokerages.
Yeah.
So you're not there yet, but you have the potential to be there.
For now, I could just do the
just do a spreadsheet. Exactly. Excel. You can do formulas and functions in the Excel, create a function and a formula in a particular cell, and then all that data. Yeah. Or an Access, a little small Access database, because Microsoft Word contains Access, Excel, PowerPoint, and Word, right? So you just, and you can integrate in Microsoft Office. You can integrate an Excel spreadsheet into an Access database, and you can pivot those, like pivoting, so all that stuff is in that word processing in Microsoft Office suite. You can do that stuff too. So, but yeah. But again, thank you. Welcome. I'm glad you were willing. Appreciate it, because we want to share this with the members on the channel. We got about 6,300 members, people who are kind of on the fence. And now they can see that someone actually who followed our channel for a while took the information from the free YouTube channel and got a broker license, right? And now, and then now afterwards enrolled. So after the fact. So not before the fact, and then got a broker license, which is also, that's more common. People who enroll in the course then do the trainings and then get their broker license. You took the free training on a YouTube channel, got your broker license, and then enrolled to kind of, continue on down the road. So
yeah, the way you taught it, the way you showed it was simple.
Yeah, I try to keep it. Yep, keep it simple. Yeah, there's an acronym for that. I'm not going to say it. Keep it simple, right? But yeah, so, but again, once again, thank you. Welcome aboard. I appreciate it. I always appreciate when someone takes their hard-earned money and looks to us to invest in something that they're really interested in and willing to do. So that means a lot to me. That's why I make myself available to show the appreciation to those who are taking, because times are tough out here. It's hard, jobs. Yeah. So, and I realize that. So I'm the instructor. I own the company. So I'm customer facing. I'm the one that people see all the time. I'm the one that people call. Right? My wife is in the background doing the administrative stuff, but you get me, right? So the person who feels that they're satisfied. I'm satisfied with you guys have chosen to come through our training, the Exodus Logistics Learning Center, dispatcher or freight broker training. So as an appreciation, I don't want to say I have no choice, but I'm dedicated to make myself readily available to you guys. So it's much appreciated.
It is. You called.
Yeah, call me. My phone is, I got it on silent now, but if I can show you all the missed phone calls. So
you said it on one of your videos, like, here's the number, call. I answered, and I was like, I was kind of
757-515-1684. There's the Exodus logos on the phone. 757-515-1684. Yeah.
You don't answer, he will text you. So
I will text you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I try I try to end my night before I go to sleep. I try to clear all my emails out, clear all the text messages out. So, you know, that way people don't feel like they're left behind. Now it's going to get to a point where that process is going to become automated, which is fine. Even if it does become automated, I still would not ignore people, right?
Yeah.
So, because I realize I'm only one person, so I do need to automate this process. But in these first few years, I want to show commitment and dedication to you guys. So that's my job. So, but again, thank you and welcome. Have fun in the portal. If you have trouble logging in with the code, just let me know. We can go over that. Okay.
Okay.
All righty. Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. That was Stacy. She literally enrolled today in our Freight Broker one-on-one training for beginners. After, again, I'll recap for those who are coming in late, after following us on our YouTube channel, Freight Broker one-on-one training for beginners on the YouTube channel, she subscribed and watched all the free videos. So from the free videos, she got her broker license and it became active on the 24th of October last month. She got a broker license. She has a broker authority. So now she wants to come into the training, which she did. She enrolled today. I just processed, and we were on the phone before we did this live here, this Zoom. We were on the phone discussing. I said, well, you know what? We need to put this on the Zooms and share this with the channel so that others who are in similar situations can actually see and benefit from what she did. So, and that's where we are. We just finished that up. So if you or anyone that you know is interested in the transportation industry from a freight broker standpoint, someone who's a logistics provider, give us a call, or email us, and I'll put the information into the comment section in this YouTube video. But I'll say it here for the recording purposes. 757, that's 757 area code 515-1684, 757-515-1684, and then the email Exodus Logistics LLC @yahoo.com or info@exodusdispatchingandtraining.com. Okay. So that'd be it for me. I'll have this on the YouTube channel. And we will go from there. Guys, have a good evening. Next week is our Tuesdays and Fridays. Next week, we'll have our Freight Broker one-on-one training for beginners. Have a great night, guys. I'll have this posted on the channel very shortly.